Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll check in with Schaumburg's Trickster Gallery. Then we'll talk with the District 211 Foundation. We'll close out the program with a visit from the Prairie Center Arts Foundation. All of this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. Located in Schaumburg's Town Square, the Trickster Gallery features contemporary Native American art as well as film screenings, speakers, panel discussions, and workshops. With us today to talk about this and more are Joe Podlasek and Bruce Dopke and intern Katie Witt. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg.
Thank you.
Thanks. Now, what does an intern do?
Basically, whatever Joe has me do around the gallery. I've been fortunate enough to work with Joe for a couple weeks now. I've been in touch with him since December, and recently he's had me working on some press releases for Trickster Gallery for our recent events and upcoming events, including we just had a exhibit opening on July 12th at the gallery, and so we did one for that, and then we also have an event coming up on August 9th that we worked on a press release for too. Otherwise, just helping out with whatever needs to be done around the gallery.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question. I've asked you this before. I'm going to ask you again because I think it's kind of interesting and I want people to know what that means. Trickster, where did it come from? Trickster Gallery.
Yeah, Trickster Gallery. So first I wanted to thank yourself and the village trustees and the village residents for allowing us to be there for all these years and sharing a cultural perspective. But yeah, we're not just a big barn-looking building with magic tricks inside. We're a full cultural center that really want to focus on education, supporting the arts, and sharing the arts in a good way. And what a perfect place to do it.
Well, you've been there how many years now?
Going on 9 years now.
Bruce, what's your involvement as far as the Trickster Gallery is concerned?
Well, my wife Linda and I have lived out in Schaumburg for quite some time. My family moved out here in the mid-'60s, and we're big fans of the Trickster Gallery. And we go there all the time, and I'm here today because I'm very excited about an art opening that's going to happen on September 12th.
Let's hear about it.
Well, the artist is a fellow I met while Linda and I were vacationing in New Mexico. His name is Ramos Sanchez, and he's from the San Ildefonso Pueblo, north of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we met him at a huge Native American art show at a casino north of Santa Fe, and this is a big place, hundreds of booths. And I spent maybe a half hour going through the whole place, and then I see this elderly fellow, Ramos is in his 80s, and he's just sitting there quietly, and behind him are these extraordinary watercolors. They were amazing to see. They were unlike anything else at the gallery. They were painted in somewhat of a Santa Fe Indian school style, but not quite. And once I got to know Ramos a little bit, I learned more about that. It's really a unique Native American painting style developed on the Pueblo at the turn of the century. And I brought a couple of the of watercolors from my own collection here, and the one that caught my eye are the eagle dancers. Two dancers drawn in perfect symmetry, colorful, and yet it struck me at the time that this was a snapshot of a culture. I wanted to learn more about it. And later on, my wife and I went to visit Ramos. We met his wife Gertie out on the Pueblo, and that was very interesting, and it led to more and more, and we're bringing him out here in mid-September.
That's wonderful. Now, Joe, I can't help but notice that sweatshirt you've got on here.
Yeah.
Black Hawk.
Right.
How does that...
So we've had a partnership with the Chicago Blackhawks that gets stronger and stronger each year and telling the cultural side of this logo. There's a lot of teams that are in the press for other reasons. We want to make sure that the story gets told of Chief Blackhawk and the history, the cultural history and the veteran history of the man that was selected to be the Chicago Blackhawks.
Isn't there a statue of him on the Rock River?
There is, and it's a beautiful statue that I know they're looking at how to get involved in helping to restore some of that. But we really want to do, as our theme is cultural education, and bring this to the park districts and to the school systems this year and next year. We're looking forward to the start of the school year with not only with this story, but we finally have our kids touring exhibit, which is all hands-on. So I'll talk to you about that.
It's a great space there, isn't it?
It's a beautiful space, and we're maximizing it every day.
Katie, what's your background as far as Native American culture and any arts?
I'm actually an archaeology student at the University of Evansville in southern Indiana, and I've learned basically a little bit about Native American culture in the past in past history classes, and it always fascinated me. And when I found out that the Trickster Gallery was in town, not only is it a Native American gallery, but also that it's a small local art gallery, it really intrigued me, and I really wanted to get involved.
Do you have permanent displays there, Joe, besides?
We do. We have 2 permanent displays and the permanent program. One is the Wall of Honor, which is a tribute to Native veterans that we always include all veterans, but for this wall we want to remember the Native veterans' contributions. They're often not included in stories, and the languages that were used. And then the permanent exhibit that we're really excited about is the kids touring exhibit.
Oh, well, tell me more about that.
On the floor, it's 25 square feet. Our veterans group actually hand painted a map on the floor. It's actually on some cushioned areas so the kids can walk on with just their socks, of the United States from around 1820, where it lists all the tribes, and it was painted from a linguistic point of view so that it fits into school curriculum. And Katie's going to be helping us with matching state curriculum for the teacher's manual that will accompany this. But they can, by the end of the tour, they can say they ran across the United States.
So you said all the tribes. That's a heck of a list, isn't it?
It is a list. There's 566 different tribes. We have most of the major ones listed. Not every tribe is listed. But we have a teepee there that we do storytelling in.
Okay.
We're going to be building a longhouse. That's yet to come. We're working with the Forest Preserve on the appropriate wood that fits museum quality. So there's a lot of things that we have to look at. And then we have a great hands-on table where the kids can touch and feel anywhere from deer hides to from a raw standpoint to where they used to be buckskin shirts. Mm-hmm. We have dance sticks, we have deer antlers, we have little medicine bags, and a lot of things that kids can explore and see how even a deer antler used to be our utensils, our forks and spoons. And
What are your hours over there?
we're there Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 6.
Okay. And anybody can just drop in?
We welcome everybody. We've had a lot more new visitors from Schaumburg, and we want to continue to reach out to those that haven't visited us yet. A lot of people drive by and they haven't stopped in. Maybe looking at another piece of art out in front.
I've heard a rumor about that.
So I want to talk about that.
Let's sit down and talk a little bit further.
We have a beautiful garden thanks to your foresight and looking ahead at things. That now the Three Sisters, if we did a beautiful statue of the Three Sisters, which is very traditional for us in the garden setting, there's a beautiful path where kids can walk. We call it our outdoor classroom.
Okay.
So they can walk through all the plants that are native both to this area and our native plants. And then at the end, we have a talking circle where we all sit on the edge of the circle and we talk about the plants and things that we just saw.
Who do they call if they people want more information?
Oh, you want to call the Trickster Art Gallery at 847-301-2090. Visit us on our website. That's really up to date. We have a great volunteer that keeps that really up to date at trickstergallery.com. But come and visit us.
One more time, Bruce, regarding that artist that you're bringing out here.
Oh, well, Ramos Sanchez, he paints under his Tiwa name, Okwa Owen. He comes from a long line of painters. His father was very famous in the 1940s. And it's whimsical. We're going to have 30 to 40 paintings. from the artist on display. We're going to have music. It's going to be catered. It's really going to be an event on September 12th, just to kick off the big powwow they're having in Bussey Woods.
Sounds great. Look forward to it. Joe, thank you.
Thank you again.
Katie, very
Thank
good.
you.
Bruce,
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
The District 211 Foundation invites you to a fun run for a great cause. Find out more here next on Speaking of Schaumburg. Established in 1995, the District 211 Foundation provides resources to enhance and enrich educational opportunities for the students, staff, and school community of Township High School District 211. With us today to talk about the organization is Foundation Chair Dan Artman. Dan, welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Tell me about the 211 Foundation. What do you guys do?
Sure. What the foundation does is we were created in 1995, and while we're not a part of the District 211, we work in conjunction with District 211. And what we do is we provide educational opportunities to the students and teachers that are outside of the taxpayer responsibility. Easy way of saying that is that if there is an educational experience that cannot be covered by the regular school district board, or budget, excuse me, then they would come to us in the form, and make a grant proposal for this activity, and then we would review it, and then if we feel that it meets an appropriate educational need, and it is also something that is outside of the regular budgetary process, then we may fund that grant.
Where do your funds come from?
Our funds come from direct, there's two parts of the foundation board. One part is we administer scholarships. Those are usually endowed by individuals with specific purposes to them, and all we do is administer them. For the grant purposes, we go out and fundraise. We have different fundraising events throughout the year, and we also are trying to transition to go to sort of targeted donors that may be able to help us with larger projects to raise money. We also get some donations from other foundations, Rotary organizations, whoever, who might think that our purpose is something that meets their goals also.
Tell me more about the fundraisers that you have.
So what we did last year is we had our inaugural 211 5K, as our fund development chair, Scott Leonard, calls it. It's a friend raiser as well as a fundraiser. And then we had an online auction last year. The online auction was very popular and successful, but what we're finding is many of the other organizations in District 211, District 54, District 15, et cetera, saw that it was a good idea and have taken it upon themselves to do a similar thing. So now there's sort of a saturation of that market. And we didn't believe that, in fact, we were going to be able to maximize that online auction this year. So we've put a lot of focus on the fun run, which is on September 14th at Palatine High School. We've partnered with Dick Pond's store here in Schaumburg, who has a running club, and they're very, very good at organizing and participating in these events. So they've given a lot of help and support to the foundation for this run in the form of logistics. Then we've also gotten very good cooperation and help from District 211 schools. For instance, the athletic director at Schaumburg High School, Mr. Kirby, has been a very vocal supporter of this run, and last year a number of students from Schaumburg High School from the cross-country team were there to help us with the day of events, things that we needed done as part of the event.
Who won that run last year?
I don't know who won the run last year. Someone from the Dick Ponds Running Club. And what we do is we break it down sort of by age group. We also have high schoolers who participate. We have a little trophy that we'll give out to the high school that has the most participants in the run.
Sure.
And what we do to encourage sort of everybody to come run is that the price point is very low. It's $25 if you register in advance. If you're a high school student under the age of 18, it's $15. If you don't register in advance, but rather register on the day of the event, then it's $5 more. So it'll be $30 and $20.
Okay. What do they get if they complete the run?
They get the glory of being the champion. No, we have a little trophy that we give out for each age group, and some small prizes, usually in the form of donations, that we give to the runners. What we found is we had a lot of runners from Dick Pond and sort of that running group. Some of the members of the foundation board are also runners themselves who went out and recruited people to come run. But we found that we did have a number of people from the community who have children who either went to or do go to District 211 schools to come out. And of course, we encourage people to come and walk also.
Somebody wants information about 211 Foundation Board. Who do they call? You have a number?
The best thing to do is to go to the website, which is d211foundation.org. And then through there, there's an email links that will go to myself and some other executive board members of the foundation, who then we can reach out and be in contact with them. There's information about the fun run. There is information about the scholarships and grants that we have given over the years.
Give me an example, by the way, of some of the grants that you've given.
Sure. In the last year, for instance, the 2013-2014, we gave out, I think, 25 grants, and it was roughly between $20,000 and $25,000 in funds. Some of the activities that we gave, just take a step back. There are various parts within our foundation mission statement that we focus on. We focus on what are called, cultural awareness and behavior. We focus on citizenship. We focus on technology. So we have all of these subparts
Sure.
that these grants come to us for. So for instance, we had a gentleman who was a New York FDNY person from 2001 who worked on that horrible day on September 11th, who came and gave a speech to a number of schools last year. Something outside of the funding, but certainly within the curriculum for the social sciences department. So we gave a grant to help pay for that person to come and speak. Just a couple that I wrote notes on this morning. There's something at District 211 called the one-to-one program, where students got iPads. It was unlimited release for the last few years. It's going to all students in the upcoming year. One of the grants we gave them last year was to buy digital versions of approved literature to use with those iPads. Okay, so that was something that wasn't part of the regular budgeting process, but enhanced the educational experience of those students who are using those iPads. Some robotics classes and competitions within the science and technology departments of the schools, and we've given them grants for a physiologically appropriate and an anatomically appropriate leg, so they could do dissections, so to speak, of the leg, which would be computer generated. We've given some grants for some kids to go ahead and build robots for robotics competitions. So those are just.
Oh, that's got to be interesting.
Yeah.
It's got to be kind of fun too, I would imagine.
And then what's nice about being a foundation board member is we get invited to come watch these events, and if we can fit it into our schedule, we can go and see what exactly it is that we are doing, what our funding is doing to help these educational opportunities for the students. And if I may, real quickly, Mayor, one other aspect that we've sort of taken on the last couple years is we've partnered with a group called Realtors Against Homelessness. And they saw a need a few years ago because of sort of the downturn in the economy in 2008 with students in District 211, which generally speaking is seen as a more affluent type of school district, but we had a specific need with people whose parents lost their jobs or lost some financial support where they needed some food, clothing, etc. Realtors Against Homelessness came to us, in part through Cindy Ike, who was our former chair. She's involved in this organization, and asked if we would partner with them. And they have a fundraising event every year in November, and then they made us sort of the beneficiary of that fundraising event and gave us the funds to then disperse to students of District 211.
That's great. Where's it going to be this year?
So here's going to be at Chandler's at the golf course in Schaumburg.
Okay.
And it's going to be on November 6th.
Okay.
And you can get information again through our website or through realtorsagainsthomelessness.com.
Okay.
And that's a website for them that also has the information regarding the event.
Fine. Great. Hey.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being on the show. Appreciate that. The Prairie Center Arts Foundation is pulling back the curtain for a night of gourmet food and live music. And it's all for a great cause. Find out more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The Prairie Center Arts Foundation was founded in 1990 as a means to enrich the cultural arts by providing financial support for the Prairie Center for the Arts. With us today to talk about their annual Celebrate the Arts event is Executive Director Teresa Olvera, welcome, speaking of Schaumburg.
Thank you.
What does an executive like you do?
What does an executive like me do? Well, being new to the job, I basically provide support to the foundation board for activities related to the work of the foundation. So we, as you said, provide support to the Prairie Center Arts Foundation, or to the Prairie Center for the Arts, for all the programs that we run here. Those programs include season entertainment. They include youth programs like the Schaumburg Youth Orchestra, the Schaumburg Dance Ensemble, and the new Schaumburg Youth Choir. And we also provide support for youth programs that benefit the youth in our community, those being Arts Partners.
What you said Arts Partners, what is that?
Arts Partners is a program that was set up to provide live performing arts experiences to school children. Usually about second grade or so. So students from District 54 and a couple of surrounding communities come to the Prairie Center about 3 to 5 times a year for different performances. And they experience dance by the Schaumburg Dance Ensemble.
This is at no cost to the kids?
No cost to the kids at all.
Okay.
We provide bus transportation for them and tickets for the shows. Okay. And so they experience live performing arts. Many of the students are ESL students, English is a second language. And many of them would not otherwise have an opportunity to experience live performing
What
arts.
kind of shows do they see?
They see the Nutcracker, which is our annual Schaumburg Dance Ensemble production. They see the Schaumburg Youth Orchestra, who provides the holiday concert every year. And then usually there's storytelling, a bilingual performance of some sort for the kids, a dual language.
Well, that's a great program, and I guess it augments what's out there, and kids who've never had a chance to see ballet or experience some of the fine music that we produce here.
Exactly.
So actually, you raise money.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
What are some of your big fundraisers, or your big fundraiser?
The big
What is your big
fundraiser?
fundraiser?
The big fundraiser is called Celebrate the Arts. That's coming up on September 13 this year. We do a very big, this is our biggest fundraiser of the year. And what we do is we open the Prairie Center up, the plaza outside, and the entire building, including the studio, the stage, meeting space, our lecture hall. The entire building is open for people to mix, mingle, wander through. We'll have entertainment on 3 stages. We'll have food, lots of wonderful food from some of Schaumburg's finest restaurants.
Donated food too, right?
Absolutely, yes. We'll have a cash bar. We have a silent auction with wonderful items from sports memorabilia to restaurant certificates to spas to all different kinds of
What are some of the
things.
restaurants that contribute towards the event?
There are many. A few, Bonefish Grill, Salmon Harry's, Pita House, Seasons 52. There's a number of restaurants, Bahama Breeze.
And they have little food stations.
Yeah,
all
they put
over.
out sample size bites of some of their specialties that you can just kind of walk through. You can sample all the food and give you something to maybe think about trying when you're out dining the next time in the Schaumburg area.
That's great. How much money do you raise? And what's the money used for?
What's the money used for?
I know you use it for all these other programs. But,
Yes.
But
Yes,
do
we use the money.
Do you target various?
We use the money to support the programs that I mentioned, the Arts
Okay.
Partners programs, the Youth Orchestra, the youth programs, and then the season of entertainment.
How do you
here at the Prairie
divvy
Center.
that up? How do you do that? How do you work that?
Equally. Equally as far and wide as we can stretch.
Okay. I would imagine, though, you have certain. Maybe the Arts Partners takes precedence over SYO. Or,
You know, all the programs are really important. It depends on where the need is. But yeah, all of the programs that we support directly, Arts Partners, Theater Buddies are the most the programs that are closest linked to the foundation. The youth orchestra and the dance ensemble and summer theater and the youth choir all get supported as well.
Celebrate the arts. Let me go back to that now. Where do you get the donations from for the silent auction? I mean,
donations come from businesses throughout the area, not just within Schaumburg,
do you go
but
out and
surroundings.
solicit?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We have a committee that helps to kind of go out and find those kinds
Who's
of
on that
sponsors.
committee?
Who's on the committee?
Who's on that committee?
Testing me. Marilyn Carr is on that committee. Sue Resmer-Sosha is the chair of our events committee, so she is very involved in the community.
Sure.
On the Prairie Center board as well, and she loves this. She loves the mission. She loves getting out there and getting people involved.
How many people on the committee, by the way?
Not sure. I think there's probably somewhere between 5 and 10.
How about your foundation board? How many are in the foundation
The
board?
foundation board, there are about 8 or 9 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you looking for more people for
Absolutely.
And if they wanted to get more involved as far as the Prairie Center is concerned, regarding your role, and who would they call and what number?
They can call me.
Okay.
And my number here at the Prairie Center is 847-923-3608.
Now, how did you get involved with the Prairie Center?
I came on board with the Prairie Center about 9 years ago as the person who runs the box office, and have just recently taken this position since my predecessor retired last month.
How do you like it?
Love it. I love it.
Well, that's great.
It's great. It's interesting. It's fun.
I imagine there's feedback too. I imagine from some of these programs as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I got to believe some of these teachers who teach these underprivileged kids really respond well to the programming we have.
They do.
here.
They love the program. They look forward to it every year. Their kids are just, bright-eyed, and the second, third time they're here, they're like, I've been here before. I remember seeing the Nutcracker. They're all excited. They really do love the program.
Well, it sounds like you love it too.
I do.
Bruce,
I do.
thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, sir.
That'll do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us again next month for another all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.